Really want to stop fighting in your relationship? Ask each other, do you feel appreciated? Do you feel valued? Do you feel respected? I don't mean perfectly, I mean consistently. Do you feel like you can trust me? Do you feel safe to be honest with me? That's another need. Do you feel like you can rely on me? Because if the answer is no, that's why you're fighting. And I get it, you might be a trustworthy person and they just don't trust you. Absolutely. Sometimes due to trauma in the past, we have our own trust issues. That's something that they should be talking with a counselor about. The way I like to think about it is this. What if it was the opposite? Would a relationship work if your partner didn't take accountability or rarely, if ever, apologized? Would this work if they couldn't care less how their behavior or words affected you? No, of course not. Would intimacy be possible if you didn't feel valued or respected or safe? No. So let's get in the habit of at least admitting we need certain things in order to feel close and connected to someone else. That's not wrong. It's being a human. It's called maturity, and it helps get you the relationship that you eventually deserve. And it's important that I mention, I'm not saying that you are your partner's personal need-fulfilling machine. We should be getting our needs met for connection and closeness in lots of different ways. Family, friends, hobbies, and our partner. I'm not saying our partner should be the only source of our needs being met, but I am saying, are you trying to meet the ones that you can? Because there's certain needs that only you can meet for them. I want to meet those needs in my wife, and I hope that you want to meet them in your partner as well. Okay, but what about the needs that they can't or won't meet? Terry Real has a really amazing quote on this. He says, "Are enough of my needs being met that I can grieve the ones that aren't?" And I think that sums up our dilemma perfectly. Are enough of my needs being met to grieve the ones that aren't? Because if the answer is yes, then we grieve and we move on, knowing that no relationship is going to be perfect for us, but this one is good enough, and we can find gratitude in that. If the answer is no, then you are not going to feel close or connected in this relationship if nothing changes. Now, does that mean leave? That's up to you. But there's one thing I know, and that's intimacy and connection require things from both of us, right? And if you have a partner who doesn't have an interest in meeting any of those needs that we talked about, then you will continue to feel disconnected and alone in this relationship, because that's simply where that path leads. Some people choose to stay in those relationships for a lot of reasons, and they try to get their needs met elsewhere. Other people leave. I'm not here to say what's right or wrong for you. I am here to hopefully remind you and your partner to put actions behind your words. Don't tell me you love each other if you can't have hard conversations with kindness, empathy, and respect. Don't tell me you love each other, but you're both not willing to work towards mutual sacrifice and service towards each other and asking each other, what does it look like for you to feel valued and loved in this relationship? Don't tell me you love each other, but you're not willing to try something new when it comes to conflict and learn how to practice respectful vulnerability. When this happened, I'm feeling this. Name a feeling. Not, I feel like you don't care. That's not a feeling. And on the flip side, you're learning how to listen and validate and practice compassionate curiosity towards the person you say you love. These things aren't optional. This is what determines whether your relationship house stands strong or crashes to the ground. All right, so those are some of the most common healthy needs. The first one that comes to mind is control. The need to dominate our partner or dictate their actions. This is an inappropriate need. And I believe you that it feels very real to you. You want to control them or protect the relationship, but in doing so, you're pushing them away. What you're actually trying to do is control your own fear and anxiety, but you're using this other person to do that, and that's how they feel, used and dominated. The next unhealthy need is constant reassurance. We should not be looking towards our partner to reassure us that we are loved and valued constantly. Yes, there's an appropriate version of this, but there's also an inappropriate version of this. Another unhealthy need is avoidance or fierce independence. Maybe you enjoy connecting with someone, but you hate the idea of getting too close. You like to stay away from labels, you like your independence, and if someone starts to get too close, you pull away. Or maybe you are actually officially together with them, but you just avoid the issues, you dismiss them, you downplay them, you disregard them, because you're conflict avoidant. The problem is that person will eventually end it because they can't feel close to you if they can't bring up issues or feel heard and understood. Another unhealthy need is the need for a relationship to work even though you're the only one putting in the work. I've met countless people and they ask me, what more can I do? I've bent over backwards for them, but they still take advantage of me. I've stopped bringing up my feelings or needs, but I still feel disconnected. I just want to reach them somehow. And the short answer is you can't. You can't force them to care. You can't do the work for them. If they aren't interested in doing the necessary work that intimacy and connection requires, then you either have to accept that fact and stay, or move on. You only have two options. It's unhealthy for you to need this relationship to work. We can want this relationship to work. We can do everything that we can do, but we cannot do their work for them. And we cannot take on the weight and the emotional labor of saving them or healing them with our love. Another unhealthy need that I can think of is withholding the truth from them because, well, if I told them, they would make a huge deal about nothing. And I understand what you're saying, but when they find out, which they usually do, they're going to be even more mad than if you would have just told them. We can't keep secrets from someone that we love. I believe you. If you told them, they would blow it out of proportion, they would accuse you of things that you didn't do, they would start a fight. It sounds like you don't really trust them, right? You shouldn't have to hide things in order to not be yelled at or accused. That's a problem. If I were you, I would be talking with a counselor about that because you need to have honesty and transparency in your relationships. It's simply not healthy to withhold things that you know that they would want to know because of their reaction. Another unhealthy need is assuming that your partner can read your mind. I get it. You've been together for a long time and you're really upset that they don't know you as well as they should. Totally understand that. However, we can't have those types of expectations where we assume that they should just read our minds. It's our job to clearly communicate our feelings and needs. And if we've done that and they refuse to pay attention or listen, then we're back to what we've been saying all along in this video. You're not going to feel closer connected to someone like that if nothing changes, because you deserve more.